and make decisions accordingly. But we trust women. We trust women.
She also urged Arizonans to vote yes on Proposition 139, a ballot measure that would expand abortion access in the state. Tamara Keith, NPR News, traveling with the vice president.
Harris holds rallies in Reno and Las Vegas, Nevada tonight. Former President Donald Trump, meanwhile, is on a bit of a southwestern swing ahead of the election as well. Trump, at least for the moment, turning his attention away from the key swing states. At a rally in Henderson, Nevada, Trump asked his audience if they are better off than they were 4 years ago. In fact, his rival, Vice President Kamala Harris.
We're going to bring back the American dream, and I want to just thank you. You're going to bring it back.
Bring it back, yeah.
And that's all you really need to know. And remember,
you're not going to say how you're going to do it.
And Sleepy Joe, they broke it. I will fix it, and we'll fix it fast.
Trump later tonight joins Tucker Carlson for hurricane relief benefit.
Information on how you plan on doing
in Virginia over the weekend.
Raise taxes.
A group that could have outsized impact on this year's presidential race.
Have to declare like martial law.
Those over the age of 50 have high turnout rates and traditionally lean Republican. Yeah. But this year, polling by the AARP shows them to be evenly divided. Here's Don Gandhi reports the story's gender gap.
Women overwhelmingly back Vice President Harris.
It's just dwindling.
Senior women also see protecting reproductive freedom as vital. Gail Segal of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, backs Harris.
I mean, I marched for all the women's rights, ERA, with my children, and it looks like here I am in this year, 2024, doing that again.
Another thing older voters tell pollsters, they feel invisible to the campaigns. Don Gandhi, NPR News.
Better than expected earnings numbers from software giant Microsoft failed to excite the financial markets. The company reporting quarterly sales grew 16% to $65.6 billion. Even with those better than expected numbers, the company's stock fell more than 5% today. Big drops in the tech sector contributed to declines on Wall Street. The Nasdaq was down more than 500 points. This is
support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the William T. Grant Foundation, supporting research to improve the lives of young people. Online at WTGrantsFoundation.org. And listeners like you who donate to this NPR station.
This is CPR News. I'm Arlo Perez-Esquivel. A reminder that it's too late to mail your ballot in Colorado. But don't worry, you can still drop off your vote in a secure county ballot drop box or a polling location. And remember, you can register to vote and make your voice heard until 7 p.m. on Election Day, which is Tuesday, just in case you weren't sure. In the world of snack foods, the Denver Broncos eat more than twice the number of Smucker's Uncrustables than any other team in the National Football League. A new report by The Atlantic says that the Broncos locker room scarfs down about 700 of the peanut butter and jelly treats per week. The Seattle Seahawks came in second with 320 per week. Many Uncrustables come from the factory in Longmont. The Denver Film Festival opens Friday and runs until November 10th. This year's film festival features 185 titles that will screen across the city. Some special screening locations include the Botanic Gardens, the Museum of Nature and Science, and the Ailey Calkins Opera House. Several films have Colorado ties. For instance, the feature-length drama Color Book, about a single father raising a child with Down syndrome, has Jeremiah Daniels for starring as the son. Another film called Elevation was filmed in Golden and Boulder. Tonight, the Front Range will have great fall weather, clear skies and temperatures in the 30s. So if you're out there trick-or-treating, you want to bring a jacket. Tomorrow, don't be rumors for the
Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are reaching out to voters in the Southwest today. They're in the swing states of Nevada and Arizona. We are joined by NPR's Ben Giles, who's in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi there, Ben.
Hello.
And KUNR's Lucia Starbuck in Reno, Nevada.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, I can hear that you're somewhere noisy, so Lucia, you kick us off there in Nevada. This is the first time, I am told, Harris has been in Reno this year. How big a deal is it?
Yes, I'm right outside the rally. It's a really big deal. She hasn't been to Reno since 2023 in her vice presidential capacity. She's been to Las Vegas several times since becoming the Democratic presidential candidate, and she'll be in Vegas again today. But in northern Nevada, which is more rural compared to Vegas, voters tell me they sometimes feel forgotten. Sandra Cosgrove, a history professor at the College of Southern Nevada, says these campaign visits matter.
For the community, it tells them the value of their vote. So presidential campaigns have a ton of money to be able to advertise and send mailers and text messages. But if that's not working and they're really having to count individual votes, they're going to show up the vote.
Cosgrove's campaign visits are enough to convince people who might have sat out this election to vote.
And Ben, let me turn us to Arizona, because if you were wondering about its importance in this campaign, we can point out that both major candidates have been there a lot as well. What are the closing arguments from there?
They sure have, and the Trump campaign here has been pretty consistently focused on Arizona's economy. They talk a lot about the cost of living, particularly the cost of housing and how much it's gone up, and that is top of mind for many voters here. Trump will argue the economy is worse under the Biden-Harris administration than under his 4 years ago. And they've also sought to tie the economy to immigration. They've done that by blaming migrants as added competition, contributing to the high demand of housing. Economists who've studied this question say immigrants do have a minimal impact on housing costs. That is, if supply can't keep up with demand, but again, minimal.
I'm hearing the same thing from voters in Nevada that are struggling with the high cost of living. They want to hear from both Harris and Trump on how they'll fix it, especially those working in the service industry.
Okay. Let me turn you both to some comments that have made a lot of noise, a lot of headlines in the last few days of this campaign. These are the ones from a comedian speaking before a Trump rally in New York, comparing Puerto Rico to a floating island of garbage. Given that the Southwest has a sizable Latino population, I'm curious what you're hearing from people in these two states. Lucia, first Nevada.
Yeah, my colleague Maria Palma, she spoke to Raymond De Leon Perez, a Reno resident of Puerto Rican descent, who said it's motivating him to encourage others to vote.
It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad for my kids.
Feels like 38.
For my family, for my Puerto Rican people.
Feels like 38.
If 47 felt like 29. 45 feels like 0.
Since those comments, Trump has said he has a lot of love from Latino communities.
Then how about
You can't see your breath yet.
Yeah, it's certainly something the Harris campaign has sought to seize on here as well. The chair of the state Democratic Party earlier this week was doing interviews on Spanish
San Diego
radio
about 50, you
channels,
see your breath.
slamming that floating island of garbage comments made by a comedian about Puerto Rico.
Although Democrats
all the
are
moisture in the air and everything
control
else.
on this as well. President Biden made comments sounded like he was calling Trump supporters garbage.
Yeah, I checked in with a couple of Republican voters in Nevada, including Paula Loop, an immigrant from Argentina.
He is my president, and he thinks I am garbage. Yeah, that definitely
Let's see how you
makes
could
me
have
feel
flaws
bad,
in the
and
summertime.
I
It's
cared
too hot.
about what he said and how he said it.
She compared it to Hillary Clinton's deplorable comment she made when she was running for president in 2016. Biden has since tried to clarify his remarks, saying he was talking about the comedian at the rally, not Trump supporters.
One more issue to ask you about, and that is abortion. Ben, in Arizona, abortion's on the ballot. Polls show this measure is likely to pass. How
I remember
could that
we
impact the
got
race?
home one day.
The Democrats certainly think it's an issue
seemed like
that could play into.
We were young. It seemed like forever to get home. That's it. It took 4.5 hours to get from school in here through the fog and 3 or 4 mile drive. Maybe it was someplace else. It might have been a 10-15 mile an hour. 10-15 hour drive.
When I went out to Modesto, it was over Christmas. The first time. And there was a bunch of accidents along that major north-south freeway, runs in the middle of the state.
And then she had just a few seconds left, but abortion's also invalid.
We actually canceled it. We were going to go to Monterey one day, Monterey Bay. And we decided to go the next day because the fog was really heavy that day. And it was already like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
And on our way home, my ex-wife's uncle proceeded to get fucking smashed. And then drive us home the rest of the way.
And so that was one hell of a trip.
It's a little scary.
You see the water start to freeze. See how the water's just drifting slower and slower and slower? It's starting to cool down and it's starting to stop. Huh?
It's gotta be 30, like 31. Is that like
I know that. Gotta be a lot colder than 31. Maybe like in the 20s.
Cool, almost like they are code.
SO adds that if you want to encourage Mexican Americans to vote, you have to speak directly to them and do it authentically. No shade to Bad Bunny or Karol G. They're world-renowned.
Just look at the dirt behind us.
They're not Mexican. So,
just look at the clouds behind us.
Mexican regional music Super Bowl and voter registration efforts really move the needle. He's a political strategist who wrote The Latino Century, How America's Largest Minority is Transforming Democracy. He says it's a cool way to reach out to younger voters, but he's skeptical.
They're not looking to entertainers to change their lives. They're looking to entertainers to escape from those messages that take off lives. I'm not convinced that without a message as to why and how this is going to actually change your life, that it will work.
The free series ends on November 1st. Probably best known for Ella Baila Sola, the first Mexican regional song to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. For NPR News, I'm Aisha Wallace-Palomas. 50 years ago, Muhammad Ali fought George Floyd in what is now called the Democratic Republic of Congo, the rumble in the jungle. Emmett Livingstone reports from Kinshasa.
I'm here in Kinshasa's Tata Rafael Stadium, where 50 years ago, the legendary rumble in the jungle fight took place between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman.
George Foreman got his ass kicked.
The type of fight was an opportunity to showcase his country to the world and to lift its reputation.
I wish your name was Kid Mohammed.